Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone out there is doing great. Hope everyone out there is having a great day wherever you are. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves a comment on every single video. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Sorry if I seem a little bit slower today. It's like it's raining outside. It's like nice and calm, gray skies, and I'm like, I guess I'm feeling the energy of the slowness. I'm not sure what that sentence was supposed to be. A lot happening within the space. We have had, and this will probably more than likely be resolved. I want to say around February. That's like the most realistic time frame that we can have. November, December, January, February. Yeah, no, that seems completely realistic. It's on the discussion on the topic of cycles. Yeah. So there's a lot of discussion. And I mean, one side will win. There's not a real, this isn't going to be a question forever. We historically see over the course of November and December and the beginning of January, the year after the halving, that asset prices within the cryptocurrency space go bananas. It's just the way that things have always been. However, since reaching a brand new all-time high early last year, when it should have happened about 7-8 months later, the discussion has heavily turned to if cycles are over. We will still have a cycle in some form or fashion, but it means our normal 4-year cycles that we are used to after the halving, the year after, by the time we get to winter in the northern hemisphere, prices go up like crazy and then they slam back down. The other discussion is if cycles aren't the same, will they just kind of perpetually continue forever? Instead of having 80 to 90% drops in the market, we might have a 12% drop, and then it slowly moves back up over the course of a month and a half, and that was like the big drop. That would then lead to all of the price predictions that we've been hearing multiple times in the last few months about Ethereum hitting this number, Bitcoin going to this, and this happening by 2028. This would entail that prices would not drop. This is also coupled with the idea of institutions. Institutions are not as fickle as normal investors. People see that the market goes down by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. They get scared, they sell their coins, they run away, and they wait for the market to go back up 2 or 3 weeks later. Institutions, however, they see prices go down, they end up scooping up a lot of coins, and when the price goes back up, they still buy more coins and they hold on to it. And they're all waiting for staking and ultimately an extra form of income from the coins that they are collecting. So, as I said, the next couple of weeks, we will get an answer. We have no choice but to move in that direction. However, it's becoming more and more apparent that there is an idea as to the way things that they're going to go. And yeah, it says while Bitcoin's 4-year cycle may not play out exactly as it has in the past, that doesn't mean the concept is entirely done for. This is according to a crypto executive. We still may have a cycle. All markets move in cycles. There's like a boom and a bust. We see it with stock markets as well, like real estate. Every market has some kind of a move up, a hype cycle. Things go down. It's always just kind of been that way. But our market might start to look dramatically different, especially as we are now, according to Samson Mao, in the suddenly phase. Basically meaning that at some point we knew or were told years ago that institutions would get into the space. And now they're here, but they're all doing it quite suddenly. And this will lead to the, huge amount of adoption that we all expected would happen sometime in the future, but it's currently taking place right now. He said, I think when it comes to the 4-year cycle, the reality is that it's very likely that we'll continue to see some form of a cycle. This is from crypto exchange Gemini's head of APAC region, Saad Ahmed, told Cointelegraph during Token 2049 in Singapore. He said, and I quote, it ultimately stems from people getting really excited and overextending themselves. And then you kind of see a crash, and then it kind of corrects to an equilibrium. The excited, euphoric phase is typically around this time period. You've seen the prices, you've seen the movements. People are still, everybody wants a 19x for their coin. But this is roughly Q4 is always when we've seen these movements up. So it could just kind of be a mental collective thing where everyone is like, okay, now. They might be completely different. This is also, there was someone recently talking about if this continues, they are expecting a $400,000 Bitcoin sometime by like next summer. That's if the companies keep buying. That's if the institutions keep getting in this space. That's if we keep getting regulation, etc., 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 etc. I assume that's the guy right there. However, Ahmed said growing institutional involvement in the crypto industry could help the market absorb some of the volatility. We used to have the issue before. If you have 800 million people rushing into crypto and everyone buys some kind of a coin, some kind of a something, they don't really know about markets, they're brand new here. Prices dip for whatever reason by 4, 5, 6, 7%. And you have 700 million of them. They get scared. They sell off their coins. It has a profound effect on prices. We've seen the huge, gigantic dips before from retail out of just fear. Prices go down by $8. I gotta cash out. I'm scared. I can't hold on anymore. The other side is if you take those 800 million people away and you squeeze it really tight into just 400 companies who are buying 3,000 Bitcoin, 7,000 Bitcoin, 21,000 Bitcoin, and prices dip, it's probably because of some other event that happened. These companies, as we've been hearing, what they end up doing is they then tell us, hey, yeah, when prices fell 7 days ago, we bought again. We bought $700 million more worth of Bitcoin. That slows down the volatility, and it also absorbs any kind of shocks that the market might have. The imbalance to that is that basically the people who crypto was made for, they leave the market. They don't get into the market. Like there's always some kind of a give and take that has to happen. If we want a mature, strong, this market's been around for 16 years. It is doing absolutely well. You know, we have countries getting into crypto now. If we want to maintain that, the answer then ends up being a consolidation of crypto assets into the hands of companies. If you want like long-term growth, you kind of have to have these boom and bust cycles, but we might be kind of pushing past that because of all these companies buying up all of the crypto. He said you'll see some of the volatility kind of flag off, but you'll still have some sort of a cycle because ultimately it's driven by human emotion. The debate over whether the 4-year cycle is still relevant to Bitcoin has been ongoing within the crypto industry recently. It's kind of one of the main stories. Are we in for the same exact thing as we had before? Are we about to see the crypto market? Usually, for those of you, if this is your first full cycle in December, we would normally see prices do like a proper 3 or 4x. Like it kind of gets a little bit weird. I'll tell you a story. I remember I was traveling. This was December 2017. I was traveling around. I promise you, I'll never forget this. I was checking my portfolio like so often on my phone. I was constantly checking prices to see where things went. And I remember I got onto a train to go somewhere. The train was like 5 or 6 hours. I forgot exactly how long it was. When I got there, I checked my portfolio again. I got out of the train. I think I had made like $35,000 or $40,000 because the market had gone up so much within a couple of hours. That's the like euphoric phase where everyone is like wide-eyed and everyone's throwing money into the market. Prices continue to go up. That's what we're trying to see if we still are going to have. I don't know why they went back so far. It says on the 21st of August, crypto analytics company Glassnode said Bitcoin's recent price action may still be tracking its historic 4-year halving cycle. Yeah, let me make sure that I, completely put that into context. A lot of people do believe that cycles as we know them are over. However, a lot of people are like 5 companies are like, no, the price is still moving in the same way. It looks like it's still going to play out. But I mean, either way, it's either a quick win or a slow win for us. If crypto prices go completely insane over the course of the next 6 weeks, we're all going to be doing just absolutely fine. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. If anyone's portfolio doubles or triples within the next 6 weeks, buddy boy, you're doing fine. However, the other side of it is if we happen to see that prices, and I say just go up by 1% to 2% every day, stretched out over the course of the next 3 years, and it takes us 18 more months to get to a $400,000 Bitcoin, thumbs up. It's still completely fine. There's no real, dramatic scenario here. But yes, we will find out soon. I give it February, because usually we see some of the market trail we've seen before. Some of the bull cycle trail into January. But by the time we get to the end of January, it's usually like, oh, snaps, the prices are collapsing. So yeah, if we get to February, March, and prices are, if we still have 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 Bitcoin, it's like, okay, well, here we go for the long cycle. Yeah, that's the people keep saying in more and more news. And yeah, let's move on. In very popular news, Ripple is at it again. Ripple has kind of been on a roll, and we don't really hear about this kind of stuff anymore like we used to, not just from Ripple, but from the industry at large. Ripple partnered with a number of universities back in 2017, 18, and 19. It made big news as like some of the first major partnerships, which I guess in hindsight should have made a lot of sense, as we had news before that Harvard, Yale, and Brown were buying up huge amounts of Bitcoin since around 2014. So as Ripple tried to work with a number of banks and institutions within the United States, and they couldn't because of the US SEC, they began to move to universities. And a lot of the validators for transactions were actually, what do you call it? A lot of the universities are running validators for a number of chains, and it was historic when they began to do so for XRP as well. So UC Berkeley's College of Engineering has launched what they call the Center for Digital Assets, or the CDA, a new research hub for advancing blockchain and digital twin technologies. Okay. Ripple Labs' University Blockchain Research Initiative, UBRI, has provided about $1.3 million in Ripple's stablecoin, the company's US dollar-backed stablecoin called RLUSD, to fund the initiative. According to a statement shared by Ripple, the stablecoin issuer is proud to partner with UC Berkeley on the launch of its new Center for Digital Assets. The partnership builds on years of innovation through the Ripple Labs' University Blockchain Research Initiative, which began supporting UC Berkeley programs in 2018. Yeah, we don't get news like this anymore. We used to have, partnerships were really the name of the game 2017, 18, 19, maybe the beginning of 2020. Everyone was constantly, and a lot of coins ended up lying. You know who you are. That they had a partnership with Amazon. We're partnering with this company. We're partnering with so and so. And they were all lies. I mean, so many coins that we don't talk about anymore that disappeared. Yeah, everyone used to mention that they had partnered with this new company, or they're doing this, or we're working together. And it used to raise coins prices. It was quite spectacular how it worked. However, Ripple was actually partnering with universities in the States and a lot of the banks within Asia. This is why you keep seeing news about like adoption for XRP in Thailand and in South Korea and in Singapore and in Hong Kong and in Japan. Over and over and over. UC Berkeley's new center will focus on developing trusted methods for defining and measuring the value of digital assets, a step that researchers say is imperative for the future development of economic systems. They said digital content has been part of our human experience and economic system for decades. The overall mission of the center is to foster pioneering research, education, innovation, and entrepreneurship within the broader digital asset technology landscape. Cool. This was, as you might have imagined, quite popular news. Anything to do with Ripple or XRP always ends up in popular news. I guess it's also like a little bit of digital nostalgia, if you will, about this idea. Like a partnership that they've had for a while, kind of, coming back together to be able to do something. Cool. We'll see what ends up happening, what comes of it. Usually these are just kind of like research things to see how things are, or to work in this, to have like a think tank of some sort for the actual initiative. But cool. Yeah, no one does partnerships anymore. What we have now is just a bunch of like acquisitions or kind of like buying. The idea of like partnering or even like merging, oh my gosh, like merging with another company is kind of out of the realm of the news for the cryptocurrency space. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you are remembering to take care of yourselves. Going on walks, getting some fresh air, calling friends over, playing video games, watching old movies that you like or loved. Always do something to make sure that you have a good day, especially with everything that's going on. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.